Okay, this video is for Psychology 301, Human Issues and Dilemmas in Social Sciences. This is our video debate project. My name is Clint Craig. My partner and I have decided to debate the topic of abortion for this project. I will be arguing for abortion and basically that it should be kept legal in America. She will be taking the opposite stance. To me, abortion is one of the most complex and nuanced issues that's facing our country today. It's one of those things that there won't ever be a concrete 100% this is the right answer. People have been arguing about abortion for a long, long time, and I believe that they will be arguing about it for a long time to come. And quite frankly, this debate is not going to settle the matter. But my hope is that we can put some of the facts and statistics and scenarios surrounding abortion out there, teach people some things, and hopefully we can enable people to form their own opinions on abortion. But before we really get into it, I feel like we need to have a good working definition of what abortion is. So for this project, my definition is going to be the deliberate termination of human pregnancy. So now that we have that, we can branch into some topics pertaining to abortion. The first thing that I would like to discuss is going to be Roe versus Wade. Roe versus Wade is one of the most significant Supreme Court decisions ever. It came down in 1973. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Roe 7-2. They determined that abortion is a fundamental right for women in America. They determined this by saying that the personal privacy clause in the 14th Amendment of our Constitution extends to abortion. They said that it's broad enough that it should encompass abortion and that it is a fundamental right. They didn't agree. They rejected the fetal right to life argument. And I think this decision just helps to show the complexity of abortion in that the Supreme Court heard this case and decided on it 44 years ago. But here we are 44 years later still debating and discussing abortion, and there's still a lot of disagreement and controversy surrounding abortion today. So to begin the complexity, I feel like we need to delve into why women choose to get an abortion in the first place. One of the big reasons is just going to be inability to support or care for the child, whether that be financially, physically, emotionally, whatever the case may be. We know just from a financial standpoint, the USDA projects that the average cost of raising a child from birth until they're 18 as of 2015 was going to be $233,000. That's a pretty staggering amount of money for a young woman who's just become pregnant unplanned. I think it just becomes that's a staggering amount of money. They view it as a gigantic burden. So I think that's why they pursue abortions in that situation. Another situation may be to prevent the birth of a child with severe birth defects or health problems. And I think that's a scenario that's really understandable, particularly in cases where, the child may be born and only live a few weeks, or, if their quality of life is going to be very low. But I think that's a scenario where it makes a lot of sense. A third situation where women may look into getting an abortion is pregnancy through rape or incest. Particularly with rape, it's very traumatic for women, and carrying that baby, all the way through for 9 months is just going to extend that trauma. So in that situation, I think it's very understandable that they would look into abortion. Another scenario would be, if physical or mental conditions with the mother, if the pregnancy is going to be dangerous for her, if she could potentially die from the pregnancy, then she may look into getting an abortion. And another scenario may be that it's just an unwanted pregnancy. And I recognize that may sound bad, but at the same time, the Supreme Court has ruled that it's a fundamental right for women. They don't necessarily have to have a great specific reason for getting an abortion. Another big concern with a lot of people regarding abortion is abortion safe? Well, for one thing, I don't think many people realize how common abortion is. According to Planned Parenthood, 3 out of 10 women have an abortion by the time they're 45 years old. There are a lot of myths surrounding abortion, such as things like getting an abortion may increase your odds for getting breast cancer. As far as I can tell, there's no factual information about that. It just seems to be a myth to me. And according to Planned Parenthood, there are no risks for future pregnancies or to overall health unless rare and serious complications go untreated And those rare and serious complications are, in fact, extremely rare. The University of California, San Francisco, they did a major study about abortion. It included over 50,000 women, and their study found that major complications come about as a result of abortion in less than 0.25% of abortions that take place in America. Another big thing that we need to discuss within this debate is adoption. In America, a lot of people view adoption as an equivalent or an alternative to abortion. And I would say that if you are only considering an abortion to avoid raising a child, then that is a viable option. However, as we previously discussed, women get abortions for many reasons other than that. Just for instance, going to the hospital and giving birth to a child can cost between $3,000 and $37,000, depending on a number of factors such as your location and insurance. So it's very expensive. Also, health concerns is a possibility. Childbirth is the 6th most common cause of death for women between the ages of 20 and 34. And another thing that we don't often think about in regards to abortion is that an abortion may help a woman escape an abusive relationship. In this case, a woman may become trapped in a relationship because of the child. And that it's very important for the woman because it's going to affect her whole life. If she has a child with an abusive man, if she gets the abortion, she can escape that abusive relationship. So now I'd like to take a look at what might happen if abortion truly was outlawed. Abortions would still occur. They just would occur illegally in potentially unsanitary conditions by people who are not medical professionals, and it's very dangerous. When an abortion is conducted by a medical professional, it's one of the safest procedures you can get. Something to consider is that, around the world, 50,000 women die annually from, for lack of a better term, back alley abortions. These abortions that take place and, they're just not safe. They're not carried out by medical professionals in all these situations, and they can lead to very bad things. And additionally, the risks of women dying while giving birth is 13 times higher than while getting an abortion. Okay, so another big, thing that we need to consider within this debate is foster care in America. As of 2014, there were 415,000 children in foster care in America. And also, just in 2014 alone, there were 264,000 children that entered foster care. Now, granted, there were 238,000 children that left foster care, but there's more going in than are leaving. There's a very large amount of children already in that system. It's a trend that just can't continue forever. And this foster care situation would likely only get worse in America if abortion were outlawed. And lastly, what I feel is perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence that we have for why abortion should be legal in America is Romania. In Romania, abortion was banned in 1966, and this policy stayed in place for 23 years. During that 23-year span, 9,000 women died from unsafe abortions, and many others faced permanent injuries that resulted from these unsafe abortions. During this time, 150,000 unwanted children were placed into state-run orphanages. After that 23-year period, the policy was reversed, and when that was reversed, the maternal death rate went down to 1/8 of what it was when abortion was banned. So, in conclusion, I feel that we should learn from the past. We shouldn't make Romania's mistake. We see what happens when it's been banned. The evidence is there. I believe we should keep abortion legal and accessible for women of America, and I believe the evidence speaks for itself.